Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Routine, episode 133. It is Wednesday morning, July the 19th, 2017. So glad to see you all here this morning and to join me on the podcast. I hope everybody's week is going well. It is officially the hump day, and hump day is usually a solid day. You know, Monday, Tuesday, you're getting in there, boom, boom. Wednesday, usually a clear sailing day. So I expect great things from all of us from today, and we're going to be rewarded going into the day with that kind of mindset. Good morning, and Kevin and Tom. So great to see you. You know, it's so funny because Tom is one of my friends who lives, I don't know, maybe 5 miles away, but he's a runner. And I swear, one day in passing, he said, I'm going to come and start waving inside your window. There's a window that sits right over there. And I'm telling you, the craziest thing is I look over my shoulder all the time, Tom, wondering if you're in that window. I wish it was on camera like the morning talk shows, but you have to have window tint and all that because it messes all up if the light's out there. But anyways, so I appreciate you, Tom. Thanks for making me smile all the time. But I hope everybody's off to a great week, and I am. So yesterday I had a moment of humility. Do you ever, if you follow me on Facebook, my personal account or my Twitter account, you're going to know exactly what I'm going to tell you. So you ever, you walk into a place and they know your name, right? You walk into the bank, maybe, let's say. I'm trying to think of something that you might go repetitively to, and they're like, "Hey, Mr. Convold, good morning," and you feel good, right? You always want to be the person that when you walk into like Ruth Chris, like a high-end steakhouse, they're like, "Hello, Mr. Convold, may I get you a table?" You'd be like, "Why, yes, you can get me a table." Like, who wouldn't want to deal with that? Right? Like, that's amazing, Thanks, Tom, for the hair. I forgot to mention that. I did get a little haircut. But let me finish the story first. And so you know what that feels like. You feel strengthened, full of power. Like you have succeeded, right? They know me. Mr. Convold, how are you? I had that yesterday. It was an exciting moment. Briefly, I made a phone call. I had to take care of some things, order something up, and they were like, "Hello, Mr. Convold, how are you?" I'm like, "Great." I ordered what I needed ordered. They said, "Great, we'll bring it right over. We know where we know where you live. No problem. We'll take care of you." I'm like, "Great." I felt so good until I realized that I was ordering porta potties. Didn't feel so powerful anymore. No, any pride that, I'm not supposed to have, but that I was having, was quickly dashed, and humility sank in very deeply. As the people at the porta potty place know my name. Yes. Hello, Mr. Convold. Thank you. So that was my moment. But I did get a haircut yesterday, guys. Been doing a lot of work outside in the yard, and my long flowing hair, which I loved, was just getting so much in the way. It was actually becoming a nuisance when I'm trying to work on these stone walls I'm building, and I'm bent over, and I'm always having to wear a hat on a hot day. So we give it a cut. Immediately after my haircut, I started growing it again. I decided, yes, because I decide whether my hair grows or not. And so we'll see if we grow it long again or not. I'm not sure. I did figure this out, though. The adventure and fun in long hair is actually growing the long hair. Once it's to the length and what you want, now you're in maintenance mode. There's nothing fun about maintenance mode. It's the adventure of growing it. And so I think maybe I'll embark on the adventure again. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see what goes on. So yesterday, I wanted to bring this up. Yesterday, I covered a story about Facebook's new campus that they're building, which is absolutely incredible. I was in awe of it, like how you could live in the same place where there's offices, stores, and rub shoulders with thinkers and creators all day long and awesome like that. Well, one of my sisters pointed out, she lives in New Jersey, that there is a place right near her. And I'm going to put a link to this place in the show links. And it's called Bell Works, Bell.Works. It was one of the largest empty office space buildings. It was used by Bell Labs or something like that. And it was empty, totally empty. It was sitting there. It was going to ruin. and they've been trying to figure out how to reinvigorate this massive building. Well, they have figured out a way, and now they have it filled with all types of different businesses. They have special events in it. They have like a neighborhood area where the different people can hang out together and stuff like that. You cannot live there. That's the only difference. And there's no grocery store, things like that. But it's sort of touching on what Facebook is trying to do in a different way. Really, really cool. There's a video when you go to their website and you look at their video, it really gets you excited about the place. So I thought I'd share it with you because she shared it with me. Actually, she shared it with all of us because it was in the show links. So let's, but there's a quote right in the front by David Rockwell. I don't know who he is, but it said, "What if the office became a place to live, create, play, research, entertain, connect, dine, incubate, broadcast, mentor, muse, learn, party, and invent?" Sounds like it's pretty all-inclusive, except for where does your family fit into all that fun, right? I don't know. So that's for the people who never want to leave the office, I guess. But it sounds really fun. So I will share that with you in the show links. It'll be in there. So let's go check on a couple stories here I got for you today. One, vertical farming, guys. So we've been talking a lot. A lot of stuff that I share with you is cutting edge, new things that are going on in the world today to keep us posted. Anybody can turn on the news and find out what's going on. So I've been trying to share stuff that's more interesting, but that's real, that's happening now, and to keep us posted on what's going on. Well, a lot of what we see, guys, is how science and engineering and modern technology is impacting our day-to-day lives. And we may not see it here unless we want to be an early adopter right away, but it is affecting what we're doing very rapidly. One of the things, engineering and science, that's affecting is our agriculture. Now, we all know this because we know GMOs and genetic modifying, and we've heard these things. I've talked about them. There was a company who was modifying the vegetables overseas to make them grow with the vitamins and iron in them that wasn't already in them. So we've seen these things, right? But one that we have not talked about is the idea of vertical farming. Now, you all know what it is. We've all heard this thing before. If you've been to Disney World and gone through like the future of the world, they've had it there for 30 years. They've had it there. I mean, they were like at the forefront of showing this thing, and now it's kicking off. But vertical farming is when they make indoor farms. They are not outside anymore. And they grow them up. And so instead of having a giant warehouse and all you're using is the square footage of the floor, you're now using the cubic footage of the entire building because you're growing up. You can keep the proper lighting on them, the nutrition on them, the water, everything like outside, but you can maximize your space by going higher. The indoor farming industry has taken off in the last several years. Over the next 10 years, indoor farming is expected to account for 50% of leafy green production and grow to a $42 billion business. It's more about technology these days than it is about agriculture as far as being productive. Now listen, I live in the produce world, that's where I work, and I see farmers all the time who spend all their money, they put it in the field, and then they just happen to live in a part of the country where the weather is so unpredictable and they lose money year after year after year. Then they have a year where they win and it keeps them in business to lose money for another 5 years. By going indoor, you're totally controlling all of your weather elements. You've taken that risk out. You have some financial risk by putting it in, but it's the same stuff that grows outside. It's the same stuff. And Kevin, yes, it is hard to fit a tractor inside of a warehouse and to get it up high like that. You're absolutely right. But it is a big deal. The cost of technology, for instance, LED lights, sensor technology, smartphones, etc., all of which are necessary for indoor farming, are falling. And interest in local produce continues to increase. So not only is it cheaper to produce this type of a crop anymore technology-wise, but also they can grow it right in your backyard for people who say they want locally grown produce, meaning that it's grown and in their store the same day or next day after it's been harvested, which is exactly what these farms are doing. So very, very interesting. There's a company out there called FreshBox. They use old storage containers. They retrofit them all, and every time they need to increase their crop, Boom. They got a new box. Within 12 weeks, they got a crop coming out of a container. 12 weeks. They don't need to go and find farmland. They just add on whatever they need. Link will be in the show links. Worth reading. Very educational. Very intriguing. So let's move on. I don't want to spend all day on that. So another one. Brandless.com. Brandless.com, which is funny. They're promoting themselves as a shopping website. Everything on it is $3. Everything. Go check it out. Link will be in the show links. You can look at it on your own. Brandless.com. The funny thing is they're promoting that people do not need brands anymore. All they want is they want an affordable price and a decent product. So Brandless is their brand. Kind of funny. But anyways, it is. Go check it out. I was nosying around in there. So, it's not like the dollar store deals online. You know, it's not about that. It's similar, but not. So you're going to have to check it out and make your own opinion on that. I won't formulate my own opinion because I have not bought anything from it. I did go on and look around. Go check it out, brandless.com. One last story I want to share with you this morning. I was listening to a podcast. As soon as the podcast ended, I went in and got near a computer. I was outside working. I went and got near a computer and started Googling and looking up information on this. I have a link to share with you. It is not conclusive, but it is very interesting about hiring people on the autism spectrum. This is fascinating. So some of the largest companies out there are finding that there is an awesome place in their organizations for people that are on the autism spectrum, that the gifts that they have, they can't match with people who are not. And it was just so interesting to read this. Neurodiversity describes individuals whose neurology, is in particular the brain, are wired somewhat atypical. Falling under this umbrella are people on the autism spectrum. The unique qualities of an autistic mind can make for excellent employees. Traits like honesty, focused effort, and logical thinking stand out. SAP, which is a huge company, they're hiring people for software testers because they have extreme attention to detail, are outstanding in terms of memorizing things, and are very logical thinkers. Another company, Meticulon, I think it was. People with autism have the ability often to see problems and errors in a way that we don't, and enjoy doing that again and again and again. They thrive on that. These are, let's see, they do recognize that there are some challenges when you're working with people on the autism spectrum, because one of the things they said is these are people who tend to say what they think. They may therefore come across as blunt or emotionally detached. And some clues, some tips to help make the transition work. Don't insist that they fit into a team. Engage in excessive small talk or be exposed to constantly changing environments. And don't be concerned if they aren't smiling constantly. It doesn't necessarily reflect their actual mood. I love it. It makes so much sense that just because somebody has a different way of thinking doesn't mean that they can't be an amazing asset to your company. I look at my own son, Zachary. He's 23 years old, born with Down syndrome for people who don't know him. And he would be a perfect greeter type person in a store or something like that, because it doesn't matter if somebody walks up to the front door and rolls up in a Rolls Royce, uses valet parking, gets out in a 10,000 suit, or if they come in on the back of a donkey wearing shredded shorts and no shirt. They are the same to him, and he greets them equally. There is no, who does that? I mean, he's amazing, you know? So people on the autism spectrum have gifts. Why not utilize them? Excellent, excellent article. I've put a link to this one in the show links that happens to be from Monster. It's an old article, but feel free to Google it for some more information on that. But let's move on. We spent a lot of time on great stories this morning. Let's go and see what our trends are today. Top 10 things searched yesterday on Google Trends is number 1, Sarahah. Sarahah, S-A-R-A-H-A-H. The top free app in the App Store right now is being called a breeding ground for what? There's a new app beating out YouTube. I don't know what this app does. Looks like there's going to be something I'm going to be looking into. Sarahah. Number 2 on the Google Trends, Dunkirk. Number 3, The Room. Number 4, IHOP. The pancake place? You can get a short stack of pancakes for 59 cents at IHOP yesterday. Sorry, guys, I'm a day late. Number 5, Stockholm Syndrome. Colin Kaepernick, post-definition of Stockholm Syndrome after Michael Vick something. I don't know. Number 6, Neymar. Don't know who that is. 7, Kyle Kuzma. Number 8, Todd Frazier. Number 9, Chris Hardwick. Number 10, JD Martinez. That is our top 10 most searched things on Google as of yesterday. Let's jump over and check some news. The top 10 articles, trending news stories on Facebook News are: number 1 on the list, Charles Krathmer. Krathmer calls GOP healthcare effort an epic fail. Agreed. Next, Vladimir Putin. Trump had an undisclosed hour-long meeting with Putin at G20 summit. Okay. Next, Minneapolis. Officer heard loud noise before partner shot Minneapolis woman. This is the saddest story ever if you're watching the news ever. I don't know how these things happen, but it's a sad story. Next, Qatar. Qatar crisis grinds on as Tillerson leaves the Gulf. Next is JD Martinez. Major League Baseball trade. Diamondbacks add a big bat, acquire JD Martinez from the Tigers. After that, we have Chandelin, Switzerland. Swiss couple missing for 75 years found frozen on a glacier. Wow. That's like the beginning of the movie Mr. Deeds when they find his what was his father or his uncle, whatever it was. I don't know. Next, Saudi Arabia. Saudi woman arrested after wearing miniskirt in video. After that, Chris Christie booed by fans after catching foul ball at Mets game. That poor guy, I'm telling you what. And the last story on the list, Chipotle Mexican Grill. Chipotle shuts down restaurant after customers get severely ill. Again, these guys can't, I'm telling you, one of the problems with dealing with fresh produce all the time at a restaurant level like that is trying to keep people from not getting sick. That seems to be a big fight for those guys. So let's move on over, guys. We're running out of time. Let's get ourselves a great passage of wisdom for today. Let's see here. Today, very basic. Simple as simple. We're building on the last 2 days of passages that I have shared with you. This will build on that. And here we go. You ready? Philippians chapter 4, verse 6. One verse. Here we go. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, but with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. That's it. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? So why does it feel so hard sometimes? Right? You're with me, right? It's so simple. Do not be anxious about anything. Nothing. Don't be anxious about anything. But in every situation, that's small, medium, big, every situation, by prayer and petition, by prayer and asking, with thanksgiving in your heart, present your requests to God. That's it. Now, it's a tough thing there. There's tension. I recognize it. You recognize it. Let's all be honest about it, right? We get anxious. We get nervous. We try to control things. We talked about this yesterday and the day before. And when we're not in control, tough. Robin, I love it that you. That's one of your awesome verses. I love it. It's such a great passage. And it doesn't mean that all your prayers will be and requests will be answered, but some will and some won't. But that's not for us to decide. For us, it's to put it all on God and trust in Him that He knows what's best for our life and will guide us through. So that is our passage for today. Let's pray, guys, and let's get this day started. Father, good morning. Thank you for today, this Wednesday. Thank you for the sun that came up once again, that is as faithful as your love and graces every single day. We don't have to wonder if it's there. It's always there. And even when the sun is on the other side and it's dark at night, that's sort of like a picture of your love. Sometimes when we can't see it or we can't feel it, and we're asking or we're putting everything on you, like this passage has told us, and we're not getting an answer, we can sit there and wonder, well, where are you? Where are you? Have you left us? But no, you have not left us. Just like the sun never leaves, it just happens to be on the other side of the earth right then, right? And sometimes, God, you are answering us by not answering us and guiding us through life. We thank you for your love and your grace. Father, be with us today as we go through our days. Give us the strength and courage to not be anxious and to let go some of the things that maybe are driving us crazy that we're trying to control. Father, I want to pray for the family of the woman in Minneapolis who was killed, and their life is so different. One day it was one way, and the next day life is totally changed. And it's going to take so long for them to understand what's going on. Be with that family, because it's got to be so hard for them. One, because they lost somebody in their family, and two, because they're going to be filled with so much anger at the person who took their life. Help them and guide them through that, Father. I can't imagine what that would be like, being so angry at an individual. Be with them, and be with the person who also took that woman's life, because I'm sure that they are going through a lot of tough times right now. Father, be with us today. We love you. We thank you. Amen. All right, guys, that's a wrap. So glad that you guys were here today. Cannot wait to be back here again tomorrow morning. Don't forget, we're on YouTube Live, Facebook Live. We're on the podcast. Feel free to share. Just so you know, Facebook, YouTube, all those guys, they do not do any analytics to share this show out there, because I don't pay for ads. If you don't pay for ads, they don't share it out there. So feel free to recommend this to anybody, to share the link to the website with anybody that you think would benefit from the fun stories that we get to share and the passage of wisdom that we get to share every morning. And until tomorrow morning when we meet again, don't forget to be exactly who you were meant to be. Love you much. See you tomorrow.